Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. And it's Wise Women's Wednesday, and I know that there are wise women in the house. There's my girl, Nancy. Let me get my water over here. Woo! Nancy, cheers. Good afternoon to you, Doris and Catherine and Jocelyn. Good to have you all here. I'm excited about Wise Women's Wednesday. I always am, I love me some Wise Women's Wednesday. And today is no exception. We've got some really good stuff to go through and handle. But first, don't forget about our supplement of the week. Alice in the house, and it's Carb Cutter. And I've had quite a few people ask me about, well, aren't carbohydrates important? Isn't that, don't we need that? Did you know that of all the nutrients, and our macronutrients are carbohydrates, fat, protein, and water, right? Fiber, of course, we can be looking at that. Hey there, I know, doesn't it look better? It looks so much better. It feels better too. Butterfly, hello. You don't need carbohydrates. Your body will create carbohydrates, the energy glucose that it needs from a steak if it needs to, right? That's what happens. So Carb Cutter is just sort of one of those things like, hey, you had a little something, had a little potato salad or something at the barbecue. Take this. It will make sure that those carbohydrates don't end up on your waistline. You can find these at savingdinner.com/show. I'm telling you about this because if you buy 3, you're going to get a 4th one absolutely free. That means you keep one in the car, keep one in your purse, and keep one on your countertop. It's just nice to have because sometimes some of us are a little bit sensitive. Can I just say that to carbohydrates? Yeah. So that's what that is. And this is white bean extract. If you have any questions about it, just always fire them away. Just send them into support@savingdinner.com. Always answer my questions. You know that. The other thing that I have to tell you is that last Saturday was Full Bloom. If you missed it and you want to get on it and you want to see how to become more optimistic in your life and how to maintain it, how to have an attitude of gratitude and all the rest of it, it is at savingdinner.com/bloom. Letting you know. That's all on the announcements page, by the way. But one of the things that we introduced at Full Bloom, and I'm going to show you, Nancy, you're going to love this. It is our optimistic gratitude bullet journal. One of the things that we covered so much and a lot was how crucial, how important gratitude is as a life practice because it changes everything. It changes our body's chemistry. It changes the way we think about things, all of it. And while our Take Back Your Life journal is, we love that because it's all about all the things. The optimistic gratitude bullet journal teaches the practice of gratitude because we need that. We absolutely need that. It's beautiful, as you can see on the outside and the inside. We purposely did the spiral so that it can lay flat for you. And just to give you kind of an idea, we have a weekly meditative practice with coloring. Yes, it's so pretty. And it's scientifically, according to the research, it is done incrementally in a way so that you will progress, so that you will become, so that your practice becomes habit. This is a big deal. And we have it, you do things by the week and by the month, and we have little bookmarks that go in it. Isn't that so pretty? I love the bookmarks too. And there's a little hole you can see on the top, so you could put a little ribbon through there, some yarn or whatever. And it's lovely. And what a great gift too. Right, Nancy? Nancy knows she's using it. Hey, Margot, I'm glad you're here. Sue, nice to see you here. But these, you're just going to love the way it is because it's asking you to reflect on what your week was about. It's giving you a daily opportunity to write things down. It's giving you, and then when you're meditating, when you're having your weekly meditation, it just changes up everything. And then it's just, all I can say is it's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful all the way. You're going to just absolutely adore it. Adore it. And see, and then your month at a glance, all of this stuff. And it's to give you an overview. You know why we do that? You know what this research tells us, that when we have these at a glance stuff, use them because it makes you see your wins. And as you see your wins, that hardwires that into your brain. That's why that is. So savingdinner.com/grateful, GRATEFUL. That's where you can find the Optimistic Gratitude Bullet Journal. We only have a few left, and we're talking about, like, are we going to order more when we run out? I don't know. But right now, there's a few left. savingdinner.com/grateful. Get that now. You won't regret it. It's lovely. You're going to really like that. All right. What I think I've told you everything. Oh, the only other thing that I have to tell you is this, and I only have a mock-up of what the workbook is going to look like, and that is the Crush Limiting Beliefs. That is a 6-week course that is coming up. Important to know is that it's going to be starting on June 8th. Sorry, it starts with a J. June 8th, Thursday nights at 7 p.m. and go through, for this next 6 weeks, for that full 6 weeks. The cool thing about all of this is that you also get a one-on-one with me. That's a 30-minute one-on-one consultation, and we can talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about. I mean, if you want to just do a nutritional consultation, fine. If you want to do a weight loss consultation, fine. If you want to talk about the course, fine. It's up to you. But that comes with, that's $139 value with your Crushing Limiting Beliefs. It's going to be awesome. And if you've been in our small groups, you know what they're like. That's at savingdinner.com/no limits. So check that out and know about that, because we will be, I don't know, we have another week or so before we close the doors. But I want you to be a part of this course if you think this is something that might help you change your life. I don't know. That's what they're about. All of our stuff, by the way, is you can find it at savingdinner.com/ whatever. I don't know, / announcements. That's where it is. Okay. Did you see everything? Did I show you all the things? Did I say everything? I think I did. Oh, Hot Melt 30 is starting. Who were you there? At Monday was when we had everything, of course. Monday was when we had the big webinar, and that is at savingdinner.com/30, THIRTY. The webinar is there, the kit is there, and the guide is there. If you buy the kit, you don't have to buy the guide. If you buy the guide and have all of that, it's going to be great, though. I mean, super great. We start on Thursday. I know, weird day, right? But that's June 1st. Thursday, June 1st. And, we're going to get through Memorial Day and all of that, blah, blah, blah. And then we start Heart, Mind, Body, and Soul. That's all I can tell you about, because it's taking the Hot Melt principles and laying it over our entire lives, right? An anti-inflammatory approach to life. You just need to go check it out at savingdinner.com/30, THIRTY. I'm really excited about that. Really excited about that. Jocelyn says pinkies up. She's doing it. She's doing it. We have a lot of people who've done this, and it has been their gateway into permanent change. Because without permanent change, you don't get what you want. If you're looking at trying to get a stronger, healthier body and get your energy levels up, you just don't. You have to adopt it as a lifestyle. It's not off the rails, on the rails, off the rails. It's not. It can't be that way. Occasional treats or whatever, sure. But, good 85% of the time, you got to be on the program. That includes the weekends. We can't go whack-a-doodle on the weekends and then expect to make up for it, on the week, during the week. That's just cha-cha-cha. We don't get anywhere. You want to get somewhere? This is how you do it. Anyway, I just lay it all out there for you, because if you want to reach your goals, you got to shrink the size of your butt. BUT. That's our quote of the week. And that is the thing that tells us exactly what's up, right? Exactly what's up. And we are going to go through the things. We're going to go through the things today. And today I'm going to give you the bottom line on everything. I am, because we're going to talk about a little bit about goals. We're going to talk about self-discipline, and we're going to talk about alignment. All the stuff that kind of gets stuck in our craw, the stuff that we really, you know what, we need to hear more about this. We need to hear more about this because this is what helps us to see our blind spots. We talked about blind spots yesterday and how unproductivity is oftentimes connected to blind spots that we have. Everybody's got blind spots in their lives, by the way, everyone. And when somebody points that out to you, boy, if you have given somebody permission to speak into your life and they point it out to you, anytime that they're giving you that kind of feedback, like we spoke about yesterday, it's not criticism, it's feedback, and it's genuine. But, you know, also you have to give that other person permission to do so. You don't want somebody, just everybody willy-nilly speaking into your life, right? Well, John Maxwell, you know John Maxwell, he's written a bazillion books. He is a personal development, self-help type of an author. He's really good. I really admire him. I thought this quote was so dynamic. Everything worthwhile is uphill. The problem is we have downhill habits. If you have downhill habits and you have uphill hopes, you're in trouble. And that is exactly, that's a penetrating light on what the problem is that oftentimes what it is that we want is not at all in alignment with what it is that we're doing. We're talking a good talk, but we're not walking the walk. We're not doing the things that are required to get done in order to have the outcomes that we're hoping for. And, you know, nobody likes to say these things, and we kind of skirt around and pretend that these things aren't a thing, but they are. And self-discipline, big gulp, is the issue. It is. Because in order to get what it is that you want, you have to discipline yourself to be prepared. You have to discipline yourself to say no to the things that you don't want to say no to, that are fun and tasty and, you know, whatever, but they're going to disalign you from the things that you want. So if we're going to follow through on those desires, it might be challenging to say no to those things, but we have to meet that challenge. Because if we don't meet that challenge, we're gonna find ourselves out of bounds with what it is that we want, and in a constant state of frustration. Constant state of frustration. So, what are some things that we can do? What are some things if we find ourselves in this consistent cha-cha of almost there, not quite? 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. And it's just that frustration of the back and forth cha-cha of being out of alignment. Well, first of all, watch yesterday's show and put a spotlight on the places in which you have blind spots. You know, get somebody in your life that is going to help you, give you the feedback that you want. And make sure that you're not just choosing anybody willy-nilly. It's really important that you have the right people in your life speaking the truth to you. In love. In love. Nobody wants to be highly criticized. No one. That's one of the things that's really important. But the other thing is we need to look at things that we can do that are maybe a little off the grid. Things that aren't just like, well, I'm going to write it all out. I'm going to do my grocery shopping. I'm going to have my menu planning done, blah, blah, blah. Of course you are. But what are you going to do mentally so that you set yourself up? So let's just say you're doing the Hot Melt 30. What's going to be different about it this time? What's going to make it so that you're going to stay the course the whole 30 days? Now, I'm talking about doing it excellently. I'm not talking about doing it perfectly, right? Because we all know that perfect is not this side of glory. It just is not. But we need to hold up a high standard of excellence. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not perfectionism. That is putting a standard up for ourselves so that we stay the course. What do we do about that? Well, the first thing that I have is have yourself a personal mantra. Now, lest anybody like freak out and go, oh my gosh, you're getting into like weird Eastern religion, you know, mysticism, etc. A mantra is just saying. That's all a mantra is. It's easy to say. And I like I ams. And I am an athlete is a personal mantra for me as I am attempting anything that has anything to do with my physicality, that has anything to do with how I'm eating for my physicality and what it is that I'm trying to accomplish. Higher energy, staying, strong. And as I into my senior citizen years, um, not get dragged down by what could be and just being soft and sitting, squishy and sitting on a couch, right? So my personal mantra is also not only is it an affirmation, but it's subconsciously working on the back of my brain because 85% of what we're thinking about is in our subconscious and it just plays on repeat. And sometimes that is just not helpful and we don't and that's part of a blind spot and we don't understand why am I not doing the things that I say that I want to do when I went out and I bought all those groceries, they're sitting in my refrigerator and now, all that lettuce and what have you is rotting. Why is it that happening? Well, if you want to rewire your brain, then the personal affirmation that you use, these personal mantras that I'm talking about that you're using, allow that to do some of the heavy lifting for you. Write it on a 3x5 card, put it in your car, put it in your journal. Make it something that you say every time that you're doing something so that it is a part of who you are and it starts to rewire your brain. Number 2 is work on some visualization. I like to do this in my meditation. My meditation practice is the first thing that I do is just get my breath together, and then I'm just thinking about my mind and my heart being in alignment. But when we are using visuals in our meditative practice, we're also again connecting that part of our brain. And what happens is our emotions and our feelings start to come into it. I mean, I explained to you how I would go looking at houses that I could not afford and make voice memos on my phone. Lots of emotion, lots of feelings, because this was the experience that I wanted to experience, not just in pretend land, but in real life. And what that does is it provides a subconscious motivation to help you to continue to pursue those goals. You see it, you feel it, and you put it in your mind's eye. And your mind's eye is so powerful. Oftentimes, Shelly's asking what happened to you. I face planted Shelly, and it's getting better. You should have seen it on Saturday. It was nasty. But when you do this, you pursue these goals and it puts you in alignment with them because emotionally and when we have these kind of feelings, we don't really understand the difference between what we're thinking about and what is actual in reality. I've told you this before, but the experiment that they did years ago on a concert pianist all wired up with all the little, brain probes and what have you in it. And they showed his brain patterns when he was playing the piano and when he was pretending to play the piano on his desktop. And it was exactly the same. And this was making a case for, one, the reticular activating system, which helps us to go out and to seek these kinds of experiences that we think we're experiencing. And 2, it shows how easily we can manipulate our brains, which I think is phenomenal. There's an attraction to that. It's magnetic, and we need to be leveraging that all the time. Number 3 is to use a trigger item. Well, over here on my wall, I have a pair of jeans. Those are my trigger items. Those are my size 6 jeans that used to fit very loosely, and now they fit, but they're still not exactly where I want to be. Well, Mark is going to be seeing his sister and a few other things, so I'm going to be by myself for a while. So I have some plans on how I'm going to go about this and be a little bit more strict with everything. It's just easier doing it by yourself. You know what I'm talking about? And the trigger item is just to make you say, hey, there it is. And your trigger item is very personal. For some people, they would look at those jeans and say, that just makes me feel bad. Other people, it's going to motivate them. Well, what motivates you? Get that trigger item and put it out there so that you are motivated to stay in alignment with the thing that is making you say, there it is, right? That's what you need to be doing. The other thing is to create a certain ritual for yourself. We can create personal rituals. something that aligns with our goals, something that makes you feel that kind of, I don't know, that kind of a thing. One of the things that I have been doing, because again, it was like super, especially after this whole face plant thing that happened, is that I'm working on my mobility and my strength and my quickness at the net, right? So what am I doing? I'm part of my ritual is using my personal mantra. I am an athlete. What are athletes about? Athletes are fast, they're coordinated, they practice, they practice, and they practice. So I say that to myself as I get ready to do it. I'm an athlete. I know what to do. I'm quick on my feet. And I have this sort of ritual that I do when I'm going out on the pickleball court, or when I'm going to the gym and resistant training, or when I'm doing my footwork, and now I have a footwork workout to do too. And let me just tell you, that's important. After this face plant, I am going to make sure that I really, really practice that. So this is a personal ritual that you can take with you that connects with a particular goal. And then all of you artsy craftsy people, you're going to love this. Turn your goals into art. Don't you love that? Of course you are. And I think of Patsy when I tell you this, because Patsy gave me just a couple of years ago, and she gave me a little needlepoint or little cross stitch thing that had a girl on a bike. It was right after I'd gotten my bike and my spin bike, and she wrote, "I am an athlete," because that has been part of my thing for the last few years. And then below it was consistency, and consistency was my word of the year. She turned my goal into art, and it's still a treasured thing. I mean, consistency is not my thing this year, but I'll tell you what, this is a piece of treasured art. It encapsulates a goal of mine. It's a continuous goal. That goal is never going to ever go away, but it also allows me to engage with that goal and reminds me about what it is that I have stated, what I've written down, what I continually write down every day in my journal. As I, speak about my goals in my journal, you can do that. You can do that. You don't have to be a cross stitch queen like our Patsy, but you can write down something or doodle something or whatever, but capture what it is that you love with your art, because you can. And it's a great way to do this. And then there other thing, this is an interesting, this is a Steve Jobs thing. It's called the reality distortion field. So what it is, he had the ability to convince himself and others that almost anything with a mix of charm, charisma, bravado, hyperbole, marketing, etc., worked. Anything will work as long as you have that kind of an appetite, that kind of an attitude. You can do that with yourself. You can be a little bit exaggeratory. Is that such a word? You can do that. You can do it in any kind of a way. But the whole thing is it's unwavering belief and enthusiasm in what it is that you're doing. So warp your reality a little bit. If you are like the worst person, for example, on the pickleball court, or having you can kind of hype yourself out like, I am the best athlete that ever crossed the pickleball net or whatever. But the point is that when you do this, we're psyching ourselves out and we're trying to put ourselves in this emotive place. And while it's not the truth and you're not going out there and exaggerating yourself in front of, everybody else out there, you're psyching yourself up. And there's not a thing wrong with that, right? So go ahead, jack it up a little bit and allow yourself to see how it helps you to perform. And then the next thing is embody your future self and ask yourself, what would my future self do? If it was 1 year from now, this is what I often ask for people in my hot seats and whatever. 1 year from now, how do you see yourself? What are you wearing? Who are you talking to? What are you doing? What's different? How has this 1 year changed you? And when we do that, what we're looking at as how I am today after I have achieved that goal. Do you see what I'm saying? You see how that is? And we have the ability to do that and visualize that again in our mind's eye as we go forward. And it's just such a cool thing to do, because how often do you really think about that? I like to use the idea of nobody's seen you in a year. You're walking into a party. What are you wearing? What party is it? And I had a great client one time. She said, "It's New Year's Eve, and I know exactly what I'm wearing. I have this black dress in the back of my, and I wore it 10 years ago, but I love the dress. I've kept it. I'm wearing that dress." And she said, "I'm walking in and people's jaws are dropping because I've dropped the weight. I feel really good in what I'm wearing. And, and they're asking me, 'What did you do? How did you do that? And tell me all about it.'" And I'll tell you what, entertain that thought for a little while. Because when you do that and embrace your future self, you are embracing and creating a way for yourself to get there too, by the way. We spend a lot of time asking how, and we should be spending a lot of time asking, how do I change my mind about these things? The mindset piece is the thing that's going to bring it all in together. And then here's another thing that you can do, and that's spend money on your goal. You hear me? When I say spend money, what I should be saying is invest money in yourself for that goal. I invested in a club membership at the Brevard Racket Club where I go, as well as I go here at home. We have 2 clubs. But I did that because they have a full weight room and they have competitive play over there. And for me, it's going to be free because I have silver sneakers now. But for me, at that short time when I did it, it was less than $40 a month. Worth it. Worth it. Over and over and over again. It was an investment in bettering myself as a player. So what are you doing on that? If you are an artist, go out and get yourself some high quality, like colored pencils, for example, is one thing that I can think of, or some beautiful yarn or one of a kind something. Get great running shoes or walking shoes or whatever. Get shoes that fit really well. But when we invest in ourselves, we're investing in that goal. And we're investing in believing in that this is what it is that we're going to do. Now, when you get those shoes, you're going to be wanting to put them on your feet and go out and do the stuff too. You're not going to sit there and admire them in the box, right? This is what we do for us to get to the next level. And number 9 is get yourself immersed in nature. Even better, you can go out and earth a little bit, take your shoes off, connect with the earth and feel the earth beneath your feet on the grass. And that give yourself a chance to just really think about your goals and how it is that you're doing and where you want to get a little bit stronger and where the self-discipline might be a little bit lacking. And do that as you're looking around in gratitude at nature and listening to the birds sing and the wind blow through the trees and all of that. It just helps us to get very granular with ourselves. It's a wonderful thing to do. And number 10 is to use virtual reality. Have you ever done that? Well, try it. Like, for example, if you decided you want to go rock climbing, go find like a video store or whatever that has virtual reality. Put the glasses on and go feel what it feels like to do that. It could make that goal seem a little bit more tangible, a little bit more achievable, and show you that, yeah, you do have the stuff. How fun is that? You do have the stuff. Hey, Nancy, I want you to go out there and go do some rock climbing with virtual reality. Wouldn't that be just so much fun? But I've done that virtual reality stuff before, and it is kind of bizarre because it shows you the power of your mind. And that's another thing that I think is so incredibly important. I did it where I was having to walk edging along a cliff. Oh, it just scared the pants out of me because I have a little bit of a height thing, but I'm just sitting. I kept saying to myself, I know I'm sitting in a store doing this, but I was like, whoa, and you can see yourself going back and forth. But try it. Do a little virtual reality showdown. It would be fun. Try it. It really is bizarre. And it also shows you the power of your mind too. You will never think about your mind as not being able to be easily manipulated again. It's true. And number 11 is to have a multi-sensory vision board. Okay, so usually the things that we have with these vision boards, do scuba. That would be great, Nancy. I can see you doing that. Usually our vision boards are just 100% visual. But what if you had something that you could actually touch? Maybe you have a beach vacation in mind. What if you put a little tiny piece of terry cloth on there that represented a beach towel that you could touch? Or you had something that had a little essential oil in it. It smelled like coconut, so you could think of tanning oil. Whatever it is, when we make things as using all of our senses, our bodies are more likely to respond, and our heads are going to respond. But not all, we don't have to do all of these, but you need to look at maybe doing some of these, because one of these is going to capture you and say, you know what, that's for me. I'm going to do this personal mantra, or I'm going to try some virtual rock climbing or whatever. But yours is interactive. Nancy's is interactive, and interactive is great. Hers come off on and off her board. But however it is that you do it, the point is to make your goals tangible. And it's to recognize the places where you're a little soft and that you need to dial it up a little bit. So we remember, if we have uphill goals, we don't need downhill habits. We need to tighten that up. Thanks to our friend John Maxwell, we know exactly what to do. I hope that was helpful for you today on this Wise Women's Wednesday. I sure enjoyed my time with you. And tomorrow is Transformational Tip Thursday. Can't wait to be with you. See you then. Peace be with you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.